Welcome everyone to LT536 Module 1 Fundamentals of Graphic Design, and for this activity we'll be creating an ID card using Photopea, and you can access Photopea at photopea.com. So the first thing we want to do is to create a new project. So we will click on the new project button, and from here we will use this dialog box to put in the settings for our file. So the first thing we want to enter is our file name. So we will call our file ID card, and we don't want the width of 1280 and the height of 720, which is the default here. So we will scroll down a little bit where we see some options. We have social, we have print, we have photo, we have screen. Because it's an ID card, we will pick the print option. Once you have done that, you can then select the business card size, which is 3.5 by 2 inches. This is generally good for what we are creating, an ID, and you'll notice that the DPI dots per inch is measured at 300. Once we're satisfied with this, we can click create. Good. Now we have established our background. The next step is to go over to our layers palette and to just click on the little padlock beside the word background to tell Photopea that we're good to go and we're ready to rock with our design. Next step for us, we can insert the name of the person for the ID card, the title, the location they work, or we can start by inserting the photo. For this example, I'm going to insert the photo first and then add the textual information. But before I do that, let's say I wanted my ID to have a blue background. I want to go ahead and add a new layer by going to layer on the menu bar, scroll down to new and layer. We'll see a new layer pop up in our layers palette over here, and we'll just name it. Double click on the name layer 1 and change that to background. We'll just type that in on our keyboard, background underscore blue, to distinguish it from the original background. Once we have done that, we want to ensure we're on that layer. We will go over here to our toolbar. We hover over the gradient tool, but that's not the tool we want. We want the fill tool, the paint bucket tool. So if we hold down our left mouse button and click, the paint bucket tool will pop out, and once we are over it, we'll see it highlighted. We click to select it, the icon will change to a paint bucket. We are good to go. Right now, before we fill, we first want to recognize that if we just click now, our background will be filled with orange. Let me just give you an example, but that's not the color we want. So we press Ctrl Z to undo, and then we will click on our foreground swatch here at the base of our toolbar, and then we'll move our cursor around along this strip, this color strip here, till we find a blue we're comfortable with. Just move your slider like this or move it around like this. Any one of those will work. Once we're satisfied with the blue we want, we select OK. We have selected our color, but we still don't have our fill. How do we get our fill? We click anywhere on our work area and our fill will be there. Now, very important, from here our next step is to move back to our move tool, or to just press V on the keyboard, which is a shortcut. Now we want to insert our picture for our ID. So I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to find the location. I have the photo. In my case, it's in Pictures. So I'm going to scroll down and see if I find the photo I want to insert for my ID. Alright, I have a few photos in here. Since I'm male, I want to pick this one here to say this is me. You know, I don't look this good, of course, but you know, right now it's my ID, so I get to live in this fantasy world. Now you'll notice when you open this picture, it comes out with a new tab. You notice the name here, and your original ID card tab is over here. To access it, you just have to click on the name of the tab. Now, how do I get this photo over into my original design? Well, this is what you do. You're going to click, hold on your left mouse button, and notice if I move this around, you see that I have it. That's what it means. I have it firmly in my grip. So now I want to drag it over to my design. I'm going to drag upwards to the name of my tab here, and you will see it appear on my design. I'm going to bring it to the center here, still holding down my left mouse button. Then I release. But already I have a problem. How do I fix it? I will need to go to Edit on the toolbar, the menu bar, scroll down to Transform, then I select Scale. Once I've done that, I have selected this image. Right now as it's not visible, so I need to zoom out in order to see that. How do I do that? I have some options. I can go to the base of the software here where the percentage is and reduce it there, or I can press Ctrl minus key on the keyboard, and if you do that, you zoom all the way out. You'll notice my control points are indicating that this image is selected. My next step then for me is to hold on to Shift and to just drag my image. Let me undo because I noticed something went wrong there. Undo. I'm going to press Ctrl T. This is a shortcut for the same option. Ctrl T is the same thing if I go to Edit, scroll down to Transform and Scale. Control on your keyboard and the letter T simultaneously is a shortcut. I need to ensure on my options bar up here, the bar below my menu bar, that I click on this little link at the center between the W meaning the width and the H meaning the height. Alright, I can put in 35% here and it will do it for me without scaling. I can even go a bit further and put in 25 and it will scale it as well. I still want it a little bit smaller, so I'm going to put it at about 20, and because I want to leave room in my design. So now I can just press enter on my keyboard, press Ctrl key again, but this time the plus sign to zoom back in onto my design. So I notice I have these sort of black and white stripes around my picture, and I want to get rid of those. I have a few options to do that, the easiest of which is my eraser tool, which I can press E on my keyboard as a shortcut, or I can come over here to my toolbar and select it. When you first select it, you have to go to your options bar below your menu bar and click on this little drop down arrow and adjust the size. I'm going to put mine to about 200, type that in, and I'm going to select a smoother brush. So this one defaults to 183. I'm going to type in 200, and I'm going to pick this one that looks like a blur. Make it a little bit bigger, 288. Good. I want to ensure I am on my layer here. Right now it is called background. I'm going to rename it to pick so I'm not confused. And still on my eraser tool, I'm just going to hold down my left mouse button and I'm just going to brush away. Just brush away some of that background because I want my text to be able to be visible. I'm not going to brush away too much of it, just enough for me to see what is going on over here on the left. I'm going to now click. Once I'm done with my eraser tool, I go back to my move tool. Whenever you're finished with a tool, any tool at all, you always return to your move tool. So that's by pressing V on your keyboard or just moving your cursor over here. I'm going to click on my background blue layer, and then I'm going to press T on my keyboard, which will engage the type tool for me, and I'm going to click to type my name as John Beaver right here. And you see, I would have typed John Beaver, that would be my name. But right now, the text is not as large as I want it to be. So what I'm going to do, while still having my type tool selected, is press Control key and A, and that will select my text. When I go up to my options bar, that's a bar below the menu bar, I can click on the drop down arrow and I can just drag my slider here, or I can just type in a number like 85 I'm satisfied with, and I can just reposition by just holding down my left mouse button and drag this around. I can reposition my text. Then I can go back to my move tool by pressing, well, don't press V with this tool, this is the one tool. If you're on the text tool, do not press V. Just go back to your move tool by clicking at the top. Now a quick shortcut for you. You already have some text and you want some more. You can hold on to your Alt key, right, and just hold down your left mouse button and drag, and you'll make a copy of the text you had. So I'm going to do that, then press T. I'm going to press T on my keyboard and then just highlight this text to change it. So what position am I going to give myself? I'm going to call myself a legal aid, and just as I did before, I'm going to click to drag across this, hold down my left mouse button again, but I'm going to go up to the top here on my options bar and just reduce the size of my job title so it is smaller than my name. Make it 65, then and 65, then press T on my keyboard again. This time I'm going to change the size up here on my options bar to 35, and I'm going to place that I work as a legal aid at Johnson and Johnson. That's my legal firm. One thing I didn't show you, if I wanted to align all of this text together, a quick way to do it, so just click on my ruler over here, hold on my left mouse button and just drag a guide, and that will help me to arrange my text along this sort of line so I keep everything balanced. Alright, that's a quick way to do it. The final thing I'd want you to do is just go to File, select Save as PSD. If that's what you want, that's fine. I'm going to hit Save as PSD. ID card, I'm going to change the name to _ John Beaver. Of course, as I could have created another ID card for somebody else. I'm just naming John Beaver. Hit Save, and that's it. I have done my ID card. I'm just gonna give you a little bonus since you're on. I showed you how to erase some of the background with your eraser tool. This rectangle select tool right below the move tool, you can also click, hold on your left mouse button, drag over, ensure you're on the pick layer when you do that. So I'm going to click on it over here because I was on a text layer before. I'm going to click on my pick layer, and right now it is selecting his face and the tie and so on. If I press delete, that part will be gone. But I'm going to go to edit, undo, because that's not what I want. To change that, I need to invert the selection or switch it. So I'm going to go to select, let me see if I can find that, inverse. You'll notice now that the little marching ants are around the entire image, which tells me that if I press delete now, it will actually remove it from the outer edge. Once I'm done with that, I can go to select, scroll down to deselect, and I am done. And that gives my ID a little more visual interest, or just gives it another style. It's entirely up to you. You can experiment with this. Thank you very much for joining me for creating an ID card using Photopea.